Well, good evening, everyone. Yes, I certainly want to thank Brother Khalif and the Renugi community, not only for this kind invitation, but more importantly for reviving Emancipation Day. This celebration is really about peace, unity, and truth. Now, August 1st, I'm a little bit older than some of the folks here, but August 1st used to be a big celebration here for the colored citizens, or Negroes as they called us back then. And I won't use the N-word, but they used to call it N-word Day. Now, to African American community, Emancipation Day symbolized freedom from slavery, never giving up, hope, and a better future for their children. It reinforced God's love and the deliverance of our people from the unspeakable horrors of slavery, and it meant the transformation from a plantation mentality to that of being free. Spiritual values were diligently taught to children, along with recognizing the need to teach history and culture so that future generations would be grounded as they claim their rights in the present and future. Never forget that we're drinking from wells that we did not dig. And here in Rhode Island, we're standing on the shoulders of the late Robert Bob Bailey IV and Mike Van Lisen, who always made sure when I was a college student, my mother and father worked in low-income jobs, so I never got the full Pell Grant. I always had to pay for my books. And Mike Van Lisen always made sure that I had a summer job so that I could pay for my books for college. Cliff Montero, they were freedom riders. They had more courage than me, getting on the buses, riding through the South, registering people to vote, being nonviolent. They had a lot more courage than me because, to tell you the truth, when I was younger, I was a little bit more militant. You had George Lima from Rhode Island. That was part of the fair housing movement here in the state of Rhode Island. Chester Buddy George, and many others. Of national prominence, we're standing on the shoulders of Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat on the bus. The late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Jesse Jackson, when he ran for president. I was proud to go to the Democratic National Convention in Atlanta as one of his delegates. And Fannie Lou Hamer from Mississippi, who said that she was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And recently passed Congressman John Lewis and many others. When Barack Obama was sworn in as our 44th president, he hugged John Lewis, commenting to him that he was standing on his shoulders. Today, the murder of George Floyd and others brought all people together under the banner of Black Lives Matter. In my preteen years, it was the murder of 14-year-old Emmett Till for whistling or talking to a white woman in Mississippi who was unmercifully beaten, shot many times, an iron brake put around his neck and thrown in a river, but his mother shipped the body back to Chicago and had an open coffin funeral that was on Jet magazine that riveted the black community, because I'll never forget it as a young fellow looking at that picture in the Jet magazine. And I can still visualize it. Today we celebrate Emancipation Day that started back in August 1st, 1833, 1834, as Brother Khalif alluded to, when the slaves in the British colonies were set free. Again, I commend Brother Khalif and the committee for reviving this holiday, because it's a vital part of our history and culture, including Juneteenth and Black History Month, and our own rich African American history right here in Rhode Island. And as Keith was talking, I was so embarrassed years ago when I got invited to Portsmouth and Newport to the first Black regiment, the monument that they had down here. Here I've been in Rhode Island all my life, and I never knew that the first Black regiment that saved the state of Rhode Island during the Revolutionary War was in our state. The only thing I had in junior high school was 2 paragraphs about Abraham Lincoln freeing the slave. And that was the extent of the Black history that was given to us back then. So this is very important. So it's time to celebrate how our ancestors got over and continued efforts needed for justice and equality that we can only achieve together. And I want to say that again, because you know how they talk about us, that we're like crabs in the barrel. We need more unity in our community. These words have been said over and over again, but we can only do this together. So remember our elders and whose shoulders we're standing on. So big or small, at every level, we must do something from protest to policy, or even just daily acts of kindness towards each other, encouraging each other, and inspiring hope in our youth, like this Emancipation Day celebration is doing today. In the 1960s, it was the youth that non-violently sat at the lunch counters. The freedom riders who risked and some lost their lives registering people to vote. And today, it's youth marching in Black Lives Matter for justice. So let me admonish and share with the youth of today what Reverend Bernice King said when she quoted her mother, Coretta Scott King, the widow of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I quote, "Freedom is never really won. You earn and win it in every generation." So let's continue celebrating the spirit of hope and unity of the Emancipation Day being promoted by the Renugi community. I'll close by reflecting on the legacy of late Congressman John Lewis, who advocated to, and I quote, "to get into good trouble, necessary trouble, to help redeem the soul of America. Never give up, never give in. Lay down the heavy burdens of hate at last. Keep the faith. Keep your eyes on the prize." And as I remember some of those old clips that I saw of the news when I was young, it says, "The day I got it right was the day I started to fight. Put your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Oh, the day we got it right was the day we started to fight. Put your eyes on the prize. Oh, Lord." Then they would say, "Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free." God bless you, and keep the spirit of Emancipation Day and freedom alive.